Welcome. Today, we try to understand the demerits of meritocracy. An ambitious high school student asked on Quora, "How can I get into an IIT?" IIT is considered the pinnacle of the Indian education system. To this question, an incoming batch student of IIT Madras replied, "Hard work. With hard work, you can achieve anything." While this is a classic example of survivorship bias, the naive but bright fresher student didn't consider the privileges he was born with, and the help he got from his environment, family and friends. An Indian student encounters affirmative action for the first time during the period of college admissions. General category, that is, upper caste students lament that they could not get entry into their dream university, despite scoring double what their reserved category peers could manage. It goes against their ideal of meritocracy. People with merit should have the first right to everything: education, jobs, and power. Only talent and hard work should determine the people's success, many argue. Hence, reservations are not fair. There are two arguments in support of meritocracy. One is the efficacy of institutions that employ based on merit. A company that hires people only based on merit, or a proxy for it, for example, based on their performance in an interview, will thrive better. 2. The system is fair to the candidates too. Only the talented will get the college seat, or the government job. The fairness argument falls too short of the ideal. How do you define fairness? A student of lower caste who can crack the top JEE exam with enough training may not be able to afford it. Because, on average, a person of lower caste earns less than that of a higher caste. Even if he or she is able to afford it monetarily, they may not have proper access to it. It may be due to the social ostracization practiced on the school premises, by the teaching staff or fellow students. Many such hindrances prevent their growth. Here, the government tries to provide a better opportunity for the lower caste students by providing reservations to make it fairer. It is not just caste or money that can influence one's chances of success. The environment, that is, the educational and professional background of the parents, the town they live in, the cleanliness of the air and water they breathe, etc., will have an effect. A government runs awareness drives, establishes libraries in villages, etc., to mitigate some of these issues. The government's job is to provide as many resources as necessary to eliminate the gap in opportunities between haves and have-nots. It pursues various types of interventions to eliminate these problems. Reservations is only one of the many. Also, one should consider the influence of genes, and physical or brain health, however minuscule it may be, on the future prospects of a youngster. Additional tuition may be offered to those, for example, with a low IQ score, to help them better understand the concepts taught in regular school. Now, a higher IQ student can still complain that he is being deprived of this tutoring. But the core idea here is to provide more help to the less privileged, and not take anything away from everyone else. Similarly, reservations based on caste, religion, or economic status are not meant to take away seats and jobs from people but to provide a cushion to the downtrodden, particularly those who have been discriminated against for centuries. If a citizen feels deprived of an opportunity due to any limitation, they should demand the government for more jobs, seats, or money, or urge the leaders to alleviate the limitation. We should not call for them to take away even the few meager measures provided to the less fortunate. The concept of meritocracy has its origins in many religious philosophies. In Hinduism, there is a notion called karma, which means all actions have consequences, and in turn, the current action that you are subjected to, whether it is good or bad, is a reaction to your past deed. If the harvest in a village is good in a particular year, it indicates that the king of the village has performed great rituals and pleased God. Conveniently, if a subject of the same king died at a young age due to hunger, it is a punishment for their sin in this or past lives. Today, many powerful people such as politicians exploit meritocracy for their own gains. After the Ukraine-Russia war started in 2022, many Indians enrolled in medical courses in Ukraine had to return mid-course, and could not resume even after a year. When these students urged the government to accommodate them in the Indian medical institutes, a union minister blatantly refused, stating that, unquote, these students could not achieve good enough ranks in the entrance test to get seats in the Indian colleges. Hence, they went abroad. Instead of finding a better alternative for this unfortunate situation, a people's representative completely shifted the blame on the victims. Meritocracy plays yet another subtle role in people's lives. Michael J. Sandel, in his book The Tyranny of Merit, explains how it leads to hubris in the achievers, and resentment in the losers. The overemphasis on merit and hard work lets a class topper think that the achievement is due to only his or her own faculty. In this hyper-individualistic era, you tend to disregard the factors that led to your success. For many, it is fashionable to say today, "I don't believe in luck," or "I make my own luck," because they fail to understand the role of chance in their lives. The same applies to the loser too. If a person cannot get the IIT seat despite enrolling in the expensive and soul-crushing coaching institutes, they may assume it is all their fault. A 16-year-old will not be mature enough to understand what other factors might have led to the failure. Many scholars have highlighted the unholy alliance between neoliberalism and meritocracy. The flawed idea is that absolute and globalized free markets offer the greatest reward to those who produce the highest market value, thereby rewarding the highest levels of merit and talent. This argument disregards the fact that market value does not equate with societal value. A teacher or a doctor produces more social value in his lifetime than a businessman who imports Chinese goods and sells them at a higher price. The teacher needs a lot more knowledge, passion, and hard work than the businessman, but the latter may earn much more than the former. While one can argue that even though the businessperson is rich, the teacher commands more respect, this is not necessarily true in a world where a country is judged only by the size of its GDP. Not even GDP per capita. When the income inequality is high enough between one profession and another, it will eventually lead to discrimination and disrespect. Such inequalities led to the rise of populist and conservative leaders like Trump in the US. Excessive globalization led to the outsourcing of many jobs to countries like China, India, and Vietnam. Does that mean Americans have no merit? No, only that their services are expensive. There have been attacks on migrants. Americans and Australians have been attacking Indians and other Asians living in those countries. Even in India, inequality has been rising. Poor locals of metro cities like Bangalore have been harassing highly paid North Indian migrants. In conclusion, it is important to realize that merit does not determine market, economic, or societal value. We should understand that only people in power emphasize meritocracy to evade responsibility and shift the blame on the people. It is impossible to attribute either success or failure to merit alone. So an absolute meritocracy cannot exist. Even if it can, it doesn't help people in a democracy, which is founded on the principle that all are equal. We should develop empathy and humility, and acknowledge our responsibilities as fellow humans for the society to thrive. For more essays on economics, politics and other topics, and book reviews and summaries, log on to dreamerschatter.com. Links are provided in the description. Thank you for listening. Bye.